This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now we learn more about the Rabobank with Duane Toews and Don Close.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Don Close with Rabobank. And Don, we think about the beef industry and changes. One thing's for certain, like in many industries, change and adaptability is going to be key for producers as we go forward.
I think you're absolutely correct. And if I look back over the 40 plus years that I've been in the business, I cannot think of a time that there's so many moving pieces in today's market that makes it more difficult. The other thing going on, particularly right now, you got all of these tariff trade issues going on. I've never seen a time there's just so much noise in the market. And at the end of the day, I really don't think it's much more than that, but it just clutters the field as we try to decipher and work through these issues.
As we look to the next 3 to 5 years down the road, focus on consumer has certainly been a bigger presence within industry circles, and it provides some interesting opportunities.
I think there's some incredible opportunities. And as we talked this morning, 2018, we know that the millennial population has outnumbered baby boomers for a number of years, but 2018 is the year that the baton will pass, that the millennials will have more spending power than the boomers. So I don't know that means radical changes, but just as we see the concerns of interest of those younger consumers being a bigger driver in the marketplace. But I also see the really good opportunities, certainly in the last several years, with the growing economy and the demand that has created for beef has been like nothing I've ever seen before.
We talk about always concerned about changes. There's other segments of the food chain delivery system that are going to see even bigger changes than those who are providing the food at the base source.
I believe that's true, and the area where I would focus that transition, the conventional food manufacturer and how their change up in market share, the change we're seeing with the growth in store brands at the expense of a lot of traditional center aisle products. I think that the sensitivity that both the cattle industry and beef processors will have to be more sensitive to what are the concerns and requests of that consumer and the buying power that they drive. And then finally, I think if we see the transition from conventional brick and mortar stores to online shopping, that the conventional brick and mortar stores will face either radical changes in their business model, or B, will become less and less of an influence in the marketplace.
Talk a little bit about the North American beef market. You referenced that Mexico is going to become a bigger player in the years ahead. But not only domestically do we not necessarily want to be the low-cost protein choice, but the high-quality choice.
Clearly, if you take the 20% increase in the percentage of choice and prime cattle that we produce on average today over where we were at in the late 70s, early 80s, you take the improvement in cattle quality, both with the Mexican incorporation of Mexico into that mix, but the quality of product Canada produces. North America, I like to use the analogy, is in position to be the BMW Mercedes-Benz dealer to the world on beef quality. I think we've got emerging markets with India and the production of Cara beef and being the low cost of low cost producers. So if you take that other 8 to 10 beef exporting countries, does that leave them in a position to try to be the ultimate low-cost producer and compete on that end, or do they make the considerations, changes that they would have to make to compete on beef quality? And I think the other beef-producing countries are just constantly going to be in a state of tug of which market do they try to focus on.
All right, thanks to Don Close joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.